Hey there, this is Brennan with Gongs Unlimited, and I'm here to talk to you today about what to do when your gong, your beautiful, precious gong, is dirty and disgusting. And we're not talking about just any gongs, because we already have a really good comprehensive guide on cleaning German gongs, nickel gongs. We're talking about Chinese gongs, these bronze beauties, and how you're going to go about cleaning bronze Chinese gongs specifically. There's a few steps you need to take and a few things you need to keep in mind. The things to keep in mind are what kind of dirtiness it is and just how dirty is it. Is it a little scuff mark you've got because you brushed against it by accident? Is it a fingerprint or some sort of grease mark? Did you throw a piece of pizza against it and get it real dirty? Tomato sauce, acid, cheese, grease. Oof, now that's a mess. So I'm going to take you step by step according to what potentially could be the reason for your gong being dirty. The first thing to consider, or the first step I'm going to go through, is if your gong is just been around the block, a little dusty, maybe you've bumped into it a little bit, and it might have a couple scuff marks, and like I said, a dusty surface. The first thing that you should start with, and this should be something you keep in mind no matter what kind of dirty gong you have, is starting with the least that you can, and then gradually working up to something more significant, such as an acid-based cleaner. The first thing that we recommend doing is just taking a dry microfiber cloth, not a macrofiber cloth, also known as a cloth, a microfiber cloth, and simply following along the lathed area in the direction of the lathe with a medium amount of pressure, sometimes going back and forth if there's an area that has a specific mark that you're looking to get rid of, and wiping it off and seeing, does that take care of the little mark you have an issue with? And you'll look at it and you'll say, wow, didn't do much, but did it do enough to fix what you're looking at? Well, that's the big question. In this case, this gong has a few just kind of general scuff marks around the side. It's not that dirty because we keep our warehouse very clean here at Gongs Unlimited. And so if this didn't take care of the issue, or if the issue is something more significant than just everyday dust, then the next step is going to be adding water to the situation. And so I've got here a cup of water, same microfiber cloth. I'm going to give it just a little dunkaroni. It's the professional term. And once I get a portion of it wet, I'm going to squeeze out that water because we don't want it dripping on the gong. We just want a nice damp rag. Now that we've got the rag damp, we're going to do the same thing. You always want to be cognizant that you're following in the direction of the lathe. And we're not worrying about the unlathed parts. You don't want to mess with the unlathed parts of the gong as it comes to cleaning anything beyond the dry microfiber, dusting off, because these are kind of unpolished, untreated areas, and it's going to react different to getting wet, to getting acid on the surface. So in general, when I'm talking about cleaning gongs, the parts of the gongs that you should be cleaning, the lathe parts. Next thing I'm checking. What happens if I add a little water to the microfiber cloth and do the same exact process? Gentle pressure, but still pressure along these areas. And now I'm seeing...
Ooh, what a voice crack. And now I'm seeing...
some of the areas that I noticed little individual scuff marks. I'm getting some of that nice gunk up. Good way to check. Look at your rag. And I probably should have picked a white rag for this, because you can't see. But I see little dark streaks here, mostly here, of where I'm picking up dust off the gong. So I'm going to follow along since I'm getting a little bit of success doing this. And I'm just going to wipe her clean. Okay, so now we're getting to a stage of a pretty gong. And for most gongs, this would be fine. But say that you did have a gong where you got a nice fingerprint, maybe two handprints. Now that's disgusting, especially with these grovers. This is a situation where you're going to want to break out a little more heavy duty of a cleaner. What we recommend, what we use, is the Meinl Cymbal Cleaner. It's an acid-based cleaner, and it's going to take care of grease issues, and it's going to take care of anything life throws your way. There are more heavy-duty solutions that are really for a situation where you've got, like I said, just a whole pizza that somebody took, flipped upside down on the gong, let it sit for 2 days. Then you can initiate a more intense acid-based cleaner, such as this beautiful Flitz jar we have, and gourds. But I would say, I'm not a math guy, but I would say 99% of the time, these 3 steps, dry rag, wet rag, Meinl Cymbal Cleaner, will take care of the issues that you will deal with in day-to-day gong life. And so what we do with this cymbal cleaner is spray it, once again, on the lathed area. We're not worrying about the stuff here. You're going to get grime and, or maybe what you'll perceive as grime, coming up from the unlathed area the whole time, because it's, like I said, an unfinished surface, and it's not really grime, it's just the outer layers of that coming off. So you don't have to be super anal about not letting any little flake get over here, but in general, we're spraying, wiping down the lathed area of the gong. This is a chow gong, so it's only this one ring, but it applies to whatever kind of gong you have, whatever kind of Chinese gong.
Yes!
So now that we've got this lathed area sprayed down, we're going to take that microfiber cloth, and then we're going to wipe, once again, lathed area in the direction of the lathe. By that I mean the kind of rings around here. And so now this is becoming an absolutely beautiful little surface. Into my eyes, and I have 20/10 vision, it's pilot vision. This gong looks clean to me. It looks like a really nice, shiny, polished center. But there's one last step we need to do, and that's because we took off a layer of coating, microscopic, but still, there's a coating on these gongs. It's protecting the surface, and we just use an acid-based cleaner, and we took off that coating. So we need to reapply some coating, protection, safety net. And how we're going to do that? Renaissance microcrystalline wax polish. And you should use this on your gong anytime that you treat it with an acid-based cleaner. Whether it's this one, which, like I said, is the majority of what you would be doing, or one of these two in a situation where you've got a real gong emergency. If you're just treating it with water or the dry microfiber, you don't need to treat it with wax, and we also wouldn't recommend doing it for no reason, since you're already going to have a base layer of protection on there, and it would just be excessive, waste of money, waste of time. But once you treat it with acid, once you start to take away its little safety coating, you have to reapply it. And so, to use this Renaissance microcrystalline wax polish, we're going to put wax on it. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take my microfiber cloth. Now this is a clean microfiber cloth, not the one that we just got all the dirt and grime off with. And I'm going to stick my finger in there, and I'm going to pull out a little glob of it. Can you see this glob?
You can see this glob.
And I'm going to, as per the instructions, apply sparingly with a soft cloth, very soft, and buff gently. So I'm going to spread this little piece of wax glob around my lathe surface. And once that feels evenly distributed, going to fold up this microfiber cloth. Once again, I'm going to rub in gently along the lathe. The reason we're doing everything in this process, in this circular motion with the lathe, is just so we don't leave any scratch marks, which shouldn't happen with a microfiber cloth anyway, but you never know if there's accidentally a little piece of crud or something that got its way on. Any mark that you would leave is going to go with the rings and be disguised with the gong. And so we're making sure we apply a nice even layer. It shouldn't be thick, it should be an invisible layer, and it should look polished. So if there's any layers, or if there's any part of the surface that appears to be, well, waxy, hazy, you just want to go over that and make sure that you buff that out to make it look polished, because that's what we're going for. And a little invisible layer that was going to protect our gong. I think we've got just that. So once you've got your layer of wax on there, then you're good to go. This is a perfect, clean, little chow gong. A lot of people wonder when they have a gong that starts to get, they've had it around for a while, and they start to get what they visualize as rust, which on bronze gongs shows up as green, these little green rusty areas. But what that is just oxidation. And it is not something that we recommend going crazy about and doing more to the gong than is warranted by that oxidation. It is a naturally occurring thing in bronze products, and so if you get spots of green on here, sometimes we get gongs fresh, unlathed gongs that have that oxidation on it, soon after being made. And that's a natural part of the process, and it's not going to eat away your gong. It's not going to destroy your gong. If it is let to fester for, some people, when we were talking about it, said 50 years. Some people said 100 years. Well, then you might have an issue. But it doesn't warrant, my point being, that it doesn't warrant an individual cleaning. If you get a little spot of oxidation, don't say, I'm going to grab the whole thing of Flitz, I'm going to dump it on it, and I'm going to take a sponge and take the hard side of a sponge and clean it. No, just let it hang out and relax. It's not a gong emergency. And it's not going to eat through your gong, at least not in my lifetime.
And I'm going to live forever, so.
Just take care of it if you want to take care of it. Anytime you do your next average gong cleaning, and you'll have a beautiful chow gong, or whatever gong you have, just like this one. Isn't that perfect? Thanks from Gongs Unlimited.